The Yellow Brick Road. This video does not reflect the actual views of real people. These are actors playing a role to entertain audiences. No persons or animals were harmed in the making of this video. Gosh, I love YouTube and I love Google.
Welcome to America, where what I consider dumb ideas seem to float up to the surface and take the leading role in dictating where society goes. Right now we have a scenario of sort of one side justifying the other side's existence ideologically. See, if I say I don't know, it would be a good example. I don't know, children should pray in schools, right? Demanding that is such a dumb idea that it gives rise to other ideas opposing it. Now, the side arguing for children to pray in schools isn't going to look for the best argument possible. They're going to look for the one that justifies their existence. They'll look for, we should purely teach evolution and no other ideology in school, period, to kids. Just materialist scientific stuff, period. Now the two dumb ideas have equal rivalry. They can just argue back and forth with each other. And as time goes by, the voices get louder and louder to where the populace is just arguing, should there be prayer in school or should there just be materialist atheism in schools? And that seems to be what we have here with this, I guess you call it right and left paradigm bullshit. You know, one side saying all cops are bad, and the other side saying not all cops are bad, and you know, you have some sort of agenda in mind, some sort of SJW agenda of getting rid of cops completely or something like that, or reverse racism or any of that bullshit. That was a poor explanation. I must agree. Whatever I just said was a poor explanation. But I think if you pay attention, you'll get what I mean. So in this video, we're going to have basically two opposing sides on the same spectrum of dumbness. You're going to hear from Ben Shapiro talking about Nike, and you're going to hear a rant, I guess, from Serena Williams, in which she includes a crapload of today's mainstream topics of, you know, I get treated like this because I'm a woman, or I get treated like this because I'm black, or whatever. And that dumb idea gives rise to Ben Shapiro's dumb ideas. And they both, and depending on the people, like the sides that the people are going to take, they're going to make their arguments sound intelligent or sophisticated, when really it's pretty simple. Let's watch people complicate simple ideas. Let's start with Serena Williams here. Yeah.
I know, Mike. This is Mike. A few moments later.
At the cluster engagement.
that would be the point where she's upset she lost a point or something like that. I don't even know what happened. I don't really understand tennis too much, but
it's like getting a game taken away.
And then
that's what kind of happened.
All the mental gymnastics are finding a reason why this is happening. She's essentially saying, I'm Serena Williams. I'm Serena Williams. I'm Serena Williams. That's basically her argument. Let's see if there's more.
I'm here fighting for women's rights and for women's equality and for all kinds of stuff. And for me to say thief and for him to take a game, it made me feel like it was a sexist remark. I mean, like, how he's never took a game from a man because they said thief. For me, it blows my mind.
There's Tay-Tay, Taylor Swift. But, yeah. She turned her losing a point into a mass conspiracy against women tennis players.
A point or a game?
Huh?
Was it a point or was it a game?
It was a point in a game that she lost to someone she's supposed to beat, I believe. Oh,
you sure about that?
She's supposed to beat everybody. Yeah, that's the perception. Right? Right, they do their sets, right? And then if they, I think it's like up to 50 or 60 or something. They get 60 points, they win that.
Did you watch?
Whatever. Huh?
Did you watch it?
The match?
Yeah.
No.
Did you watch highlights of it?
No.
Sad you know?
That wouldn't matter because of what she just said.
Just curious.
Whatever she's upset about is tennis related, but it turned into something else.
Well, it's like a penalty.
Yeah. Now counteracting that with Ben Shapiro's.
Well, she said it was bullshit. Like,
huh?
She said it was bullshit. So.
Bullshit call?
No, what she was saying.
Ah, yeah.
It's because I'm like.
Well, you could just see how it filtered through her super ego and turned it into something else, rather than a tennis match.
See that award ceremony?
Or some guy upset. You call him a name or something.
See that award ceremony?
What?
The girl, the Japanese girl. Well, I don't know if she's Japanese, but she's getting like the award, like, you know, you won here. Like she hears, it's like fuck, and then she's like,
oh, the girl that beat her.
Yeah,
okay.
and she's like
Asuka or something like that.
Something like that. And Serena's like, we're gonna make it the best we can. So, I know, we'll make it the best we can, and let's just try to get through this together. It's like, stop it.
That sounds like super ego narcissism.
It was on a big stage.
Super ego narcissism.
I watched highlights. I thought like, I don't know, it was interesting. That girl's good. A Japanese girl.
Well,
it's like, fuck.
Whether or not the point is justified, being taken away or whatever happened.
Yeah.
The following events
Yeah.
fall right into the argument we're making now.
I'm here fighting for, like...
It's like, I'm sure other men called you thief, and you never gotten points taken away for it.
I thought McEnroe.
Are you fucking kidding?
You seen highlights of that guy?
Somewhat.
That guy's hilarious.
But, okay. Let's turn it over to Ben Shapiro. Let's hear the silly argument on the other side of the coin.
The culture war continues to polarize. The big story over the weekend is that...
Obviously, starts off with culture war. I really think it's just a self-fulfilling prophecy of bad ideas arguing with each other.
It's too simple, man.
I wouldn't say bad. I'd say undeveloped, immature ideas.
Nike, in a viral piece of marketing, decided that it was deeply necessary to reward Colin Kaepernick. So you remember Colin Kaepernick? He's that irrelevant backup quarterback from 2016 who made a name for himself by kneeling for the national anthem. And let us recall that Colin Kaepernick had already been made a backup quarterback, so I think it was Blaine Gabbert in San Francisco. In other words, he was a garbage quarterback. He was one of the lowest rated quarterbacks in the NFL. I think he was at the time he was benched the lowest rated quarterback in the NFL.
He's not a garbage quarterback at all. Was he 6'4"? He was like 215 or something like that. Runs fast.
Yeah, we went over this.
Has a cannon.
Yeah.
It's like you don't look at ratings all like statistical ratings. You have to look at the actual guy.
Not only that, who he's playing with.
Can you imagine a major league pitcher? Like,
Well, yeah, major league pitcher with a garbage. Like I'm saying, like a below average catcher who constantly, misplays the ball. Whether it's another wild pitch, I'm like, no, he missed that. Or all the fielders make like 10+ errors a game.
Yeah, Actually, you can even forget about that. Just say he walks a lot of guys.
Yeah.
He walks a shitload of guys. He has like a 6 ERA, but he throws 105 miles an hour. They're going to keep that guy. And it would be obvious to every normal citizen, like, yeah, he throws 105. Let's keep him.
I don't think that's a good comparison.
I think so.
You could do that. I think you're.
Oh, you mean like the scale? The power scaling?
That's fucking off.
Guy who runs fast with a cannon arm. How many guys with that in the NFL?
I think you'd rather say
that's
like
a rare space.
Like an ERA above 4, between 4 and a 4.50.
No, that would be completely. I mean, it has to be exaggeratedly bad for my example. Like a 7 ERA, just walks a shit, just keeps walking guys.
I thought you actually making a comparison. That's what he is, but they'll keep him. It doesn't make him garbage. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. A quarterback that runs that fast with a cannon arm is rare.
Okay.
There's maybe
you just compare that, then you said what he does. You comparing it to what Kaepernick does?
I don't know. Kaepernick's stats aren't that bad.
Huh?
Kaepernick's stats aren't that bad.
Alright, then what's that?
But I made an extra exaggeration in order to stick the point home of you could play absolutely horribly, but if you have these tools here, they'll find a place for you. They turn quarterbacks into receivers all the time. They turn quarterbacks into tight ends all the time.
All right.
In the NFL, those things happen.
Maybe right now he's the guy who has a 4 ERA, but
yeah, he'd be closer to like that.
All right.
I just exaggerated to stick the point on.
Oh yeah. Then there's the guy, walks people like 60 walks, 70 walks a year, and
yeah, they're always
horrible fielders.
This might be the year he breaks out of it. You never know.
Arietta.
So that's already his bias. Granted, he probably doesn't know that much about football, so he's already in a biased state of crapping on the athlete's game.
Probably did his stats. Here it is. You lose.
King Felix was barely over 500 and he won a Cy Young. What's going on here? It's like, you could watch him dominate hitters. How about that, Ben?
I mean, I don't think he'd do that. Like, he didn't win because he didn't run support.
But yeah, obviously this was meant to be like some sort of insult.
Probably.
Because, they're trying to start a culture war, and like you're not holding it up. Like, are you not holding that up?
Not only is he holding up, he's playing a part.
You're literally holding up by going out of your way to call him a garbage quarterback.
He's on a team.
So, I don't want to hear bullshit about they're trying to start a culture war. It's like,
who's lighting the fire?
You're holding it up.
No, I'm not. It's like a pitchfork. Like, starting to start the fire again. It's like, he threw sand on it, but I'll start it again. Come on.
Yeah, let's hear the rest of his point.
Like out of 32 starting quarterbacks, he was number 32. And Colin Kaepernick was benched. And then in the preseason of 2016, before Trump was president, he started to kneel for the national anthem. It is also to be remembered that Colin Kaepernick, who said he was kneeling for the national anthem to protest widespread police brutality or some such nonsense, he's the kind of person who is wearing on...
You know, an Army veteran recommended him that, right?
Yeah.
That came out recently.
You showed me that, right?
I don't know.
I think you showed me. The guy, I forgot the player's name, but he's like, this won't be disrespect if you do it this way.
No, it wasn't a player.
Right? It was a player that told him that.
I'm sure it was a veteran.
I think it was a... You sure?
Pretty sure.
I thought it was a player that was a veteran or something like that.
He said, I think it's better if you kneel because we kneel when we do these things. And they met up and they talked and he did the next day and it didn't help.
All right.
So it's ironic.
That makes it sound even worse for his point.
It's ironic, yeah. Yeah.
But, shit, I had a point. Forgot. Whatever.
Practice field socked with pictures of cops as pigs. There's legitimately pictures of pigs with cop hats on them.
I remember what I was going to say. Ben Shapiro has he has a following that even though he's not a politician, but he moves like a politician. So he has constituents that he has to please.
Well, it's just the same thing. It's like using stat statistics, inward studies, skewing them and using them in your own for your own favor.
A lot of his constituents are, I would say, military people. Remember the stage thing? He was on the stage, like a big fucking arena looking thing.
No, I don't.
And he's like, and someone asked a question about.
It wasn't really a question. It was like a
statement or whatever.
It was more of a statement. Then he ran up in there and grabbed the flag and like, thank you.
Yeah, he's like in this pose and shit. I'm like, you're not a politician, but you're a politician. Let's be honest.
If there was a word for something that people move like that, that's what he is.
Yeah, right.
It's the truth.
Because this is what he thinks. A police officer, this guy who grew up actually pretty privileged. He was adopted, and he grew up in a pretty privileged area of California. It's all kind of ridiculous. But Colin Kaepernick was made into a national hero by the left, which thinks that it is a Muhammad Ali-like stance to kneel for the national anthem. He did this in 2016 and became a national issue. President Trump commented on it as a candidate. It was very polarizing. Most Americans opposed kneeling for the anthem, but there's a heavy segment, particularly in the black community, that supported Colin Kaepernick kneeling for the national anthem. There's a very big racial gap in the polling numbers on kneeling for the national anthem. So Colin Kaepernick was offered.
Like I said, politician. Looks at polls and shit like that. Like, I don't think you're gonna hear like real answers.
In 2017, or in 2016, he was offered the chance to join the Denver Broncos. John Elway announced this in 2018. He was asked about picking up Colin Kaepernick, and he said, I said this a while ago. Colin had his chance to be here. We offered him a contract, and he didn't take it. Elway was referring to the 2016 season. Denver tried to trade for Kaepernick, who was under contract with the 49ers at the time. The quarterback would not agree to a restructured deal with Denver. And then the Broncos selected a couple of backup quarterbacks, and he lost his opportunity. And it turned out nobody really wanted the headache of Colin Kaepernick, not just because of the publicity, although publicity is something you have to take into account when you are a National Football League team, but also because he's just not a very good quarterback. Because Colin Kaepernick, after basically one spectacular season, fell off the map. And that's not unusual.
That's all. Should I just leave the sports alone? I don't think he understands sports at all.
Just fucking say it.
I mean...
Say goddamn it. Say it.
Well, he doesn't know shit about sports, I think. My opinion. Colin Kaepernick is better at making rich white shoe company businesses richer than he is at saving black lives. Yeah, I might agree with that.
Because he's ignorant.
Yeah.
He's mad ignorant, man.
I might agree with that.
He's an ignorant pseudo-hero. It's like, I'm here to protect you. It's like, will you make us shoes? Huh? can make our sales shoot, our sales go up. He's like, all right, sure. He didn't hear that. He heard, they'll advertise my message. Yes. Meanwhile, some poor little, unprivileged. By that I mean, third world, fucking people it's gonna take advantage of are making their shit and shirts and all that.
I will say
it's not children, then it's the adults. But either way, it's horrible.
I'll say Kaepernick's as good as 99% of the population at saving whatever cause they're after.
I'll let you talk about yourself.
There are a bunch of quarterbacks in the NFL who've had one great season then fallen off the map. And this has nothing to do with politics. Remember RG3, who's a quarterback in Washington for the Redskins, had one fantastic season, and then he sort of fell off the map.
All right, stop. Yeah, I'm not a football fan, but I've been getting into it, and I remember him. He got hurt.
He got hurt.
Oh, shit ton of times, and then there's what? He got into arguments.
Also, it was politics, but not like U.S. politics.
Sports politics.
Yes, politics with the coach.
Yeah.
And then they brought a backup in. The backup did really good, Kirk Cousins. And then he ended up starting and staying there. Yeah. So.
No, he suddenly disappeared. All of a sudden. Disappeared. Out of nowhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How can poor oppressed blacks that claim they can't afford condoms, baby food, and abortions afford $250 on a pair of shoes? I'm not sure. Obviously, I don't know if that's a realistic statistic or not.
I don't know about that either.
But as far as just looking at things stereotypically, I could see someone coming to that logic.
Look, my friends, they would say,
And you want to know the answer? Yeah. They're dumb too. That's all it is.
My friends would say, I can't afford it, man. I'm like, where'd you get those new shoes, man? So at the mall the other day.
Yeah.
Where'd you get that? What are you talking about? You know what I mean? So.
At the same time, it's nothing to look down on.
No.
It is to look at it when they start complaining that things aren't going right for them, but they have a brand new pair of Jordans on. It's like, shut up. Stop it. But life, as I've probably said before, I don't think life is about surviving. Right? We don't live to survive. We live to live.
No, we live for Jordans. Speaking of which, I'm going to get some. Just kidding.
Yeah, sometimes people look for those small moments of, pleasure because they think they're going to run out of it. Like, I could die tomorrow.
I think
better fulfill this.
I think the reasoning for indulging is an important thing to look at. I tell people it's okay to indulge every now and then as long as you're not hurting yourself or anybody else.
Yeah.
It's like someone who's like dedicated to an exercise thing. And like, you know what, man? Like, let's say it's just today, I'm gonna cheat on my meal plan. I'm gonna cheat a little bit. I'm gonna have some candy or whatever the fuck. Some candy doesn't have any poison in it. That is. You know what I mean? Or you know what, man? I'm gonna go out and get this new game. I like this. I'm gonna go get this new game.
Yeah, I think Rogan was talking about it with Tulsi Gabbard. I like the idea of universal basic income. I really like that idea.
That comes from my idea as far as, well, who's gonna pay for the roads?
Yeah.
Really like this. They could afford this realistically if you think about it. You could have here's a certain amount, or here's a certain supply for food. Mm-hmm. There you go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, fuck out of here. You're telling me you can afford fucking like jets, dropping bombs on countries,
New model jets, like every year.
Yeah.
Like, we need to upgrade.
Arms deals and et cetera, but we can't afford. Listen, Billy, you and your family are gonna eat this summer. Yay! And water too.
So that it's not someone choosing between like a baseball career or eating food. Yeah. It's like,
look at Michigan.
Food's taken care of.
Michigan.
You're good. Yeah.
Fucking Michigan, man. Are you kidding me? Ridiculous. Not only that, they have to, all that other crap is going on in the water. Even before that, they had to deal with all that other shit in the water they didn't know about. Now it's just blatant. Speaking of that, people should look into filters.
Alright, let's continue.
And that's not unusual. Again, once people figure out your sort of tricks as a quarterback, it's difficult to recover, and that's sort of what happened to Kaepernick overall. But Kaepernick played his way out of the starting job, and then...
Once again, he's talking about sports. I don't think he understands. Like, tricks, those are plays that the coaches bring up, not the player. All right, it's the coach's playbook.
Well, again, that's like this.
He has the tools to execute any playbook in the league. If you want a running quarterback playbook, he can do that. You want a throwing quarterback playbook, he'd struggle a little bit on accuracy, but he has the arm to hit any point of the field that anyone else can.
Well, so it's just like a pitcher catcher, and you have the manager, you know. And if the manager was like an ex-catcher, you know, you ever see guys do?
Yeah.
Just in the corner somewhere. And the catcher's like,
yeah.
Like,
I thought you were like played with it.
No, I was like going like this, like, you know, third or fourth sign indicator or whatever they want it to be, and sometimes they get it wrong. Then like, see the pitcher's ass. I'm like, look what they're calling. Look at that. Look what the catcher throws down. Look, change up. You know, like 2-1. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? And the guy hits it, and then you look it up, like, that probably wasn't a great idea, you know? Especially where the catcher put it, and the pitcher's just like, you know what, man? I'll follow where you're throwing it.
Yeah, and we don't see those on TV.
No.
The coach just pulls the players like, that was my fault, man. I made the wrong call there.
Or even a shift in the outfield shift, you know? Gardner can't make the diving play, you know? Yo, he lost us the game. Like, dude, he was fucking 50 feet the other way from his normal position.
Yeah.
Guess who calls that? The coaches. Yeah.
It is now 2 years later. This conversation has not ceased since. It has continued to be a thorn in the side of the NFL ever since, because the NFL didn't take strict action against it. And we'll talk about the latest iteration of this controversy in just 1 second. The latest iteration of the Colin Kaepernick controversy, because it has continued all the way till now. President Trump, I said I didn't think he should get involved in this. He did as president because he likes this culture war. He thinks it's a good culture war to fight. He thinks he wins this culture war. And he's likely right. He does win this culture war, but at the cost of polarizing the debate a little bit more. When President Trump took office, some 75% of Americans thought kneeling for the national anthem was bad. Now that number is in the low 60s last time I checked. A lot of that has to do with President Trump's polarizing personality. With all of that said, the media have latched on to the national anthem controversy, and they have not let go since. The NFL has done a horrible job of killing the controversy. Instead of just killing it at the outset by saying, listen, you don't get to kneel for the anthem, you're fine. You want to protest in your off hours, enjoy, but you don't get to do it on our field.
Pause it. It is interesting that no one wants to talk about how I don't want to be. I'm not trying to be not specific here, but pretty sure there was a deal made in which the military would be heavily featured on NFL football games, the national anthem, honoring the military, etc., etc. You know, in a way, a sense, it's like an ideology. So it's like, so one ideology can be expressed full front, you know, full guns, etc., you know, full force, Rambo. By Rambo, I mean, we're just going to go the fuck that way. We're going to go. And, you know, someone can't express themselves this way. Oh, you can express yourself after the game. It's like, but you can express yourself before the game, you know? Like, you know what I mean?
Not only
really
that,
weird.
Not only that, but certain ideas or people's actions happen to be propped up, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if he was kneeling like during the national anthem or whatever, like the first couple of weeks he did it, then it's like all of a sudden the camera crews are zooming straight in on him. Like, this is the big story. We're gonna make this a big story.
Not only that, remember the basketball?
What?
I'm sure it was a basketball player that did this too. A while back.
Probably. They banned that shit.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. It is ridiculous.
Outrageous. I wouldn't play for them. If I was a basketball star, fuck that. Not doing it.
Black males inherit their infatuation with trinkets, shoes, jeans, wallets, jewelry, etc. from their black mothers. 8 out of 10 black children are raised in fatherless homes. That's a gigantic leap in logic. I see why you like Jared Taylor so much.
So that's why you have that necklace.
That's just a giant leap in logic.
Tell me something. Can't get a good mic, but you can get some new shoes.
Let's say you're correct about this.
By the way, I'm kidding. That's grossly disproportionate.
What?
That comment.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Well, let's say he's correct. What is your deduction from that? What does that say about anyone, any person?
I'm not saying someone can't have an influence on someone else regarding, culturally.
Yeah, it's making the conditioning argument.
Sure.
And then it's making a males are this way conditioning argument.
That's something I don't agree with.
It's layers of leaps in logic, man. The only way for you to actually come to a solid answer is for you to break down your own conditioning, and then you can understand whether or not someone can be conditioned to do one thing or another, and how deep of an influence the conditioning is.
I always imagined it to be not specifically a group of people, but just people in general. This thing is important right now. I'm like, no, it isn't.
Yeah.
That's not important. Okay.
Yeah.
If someone out there told you this is important, and they show it to you, by they I mean, let's say it's a commercial, like shoes, right? Like, oh my God, like everyone's wearing them. Versus someone who actually likes shoes, wants to design shoes, etc., etc. Like, oh, these are cool, man. Versus, yo, man, this is it right now. I'm like, but what does that mean to you? Like, why are we so obsessed with this and that? Why do you find these things important? Because they probably couldn't give you a really good answer. And the answer they do give you kind of prove the idea of some people being following the inauthentic idea of what things should be, what's important.
Well, let me make a...
No, you're done talking. It's my show now.
Let me make a better conditioning argument for you. Not that...
I'm trying to be careful because I think me saying it's being called the inauthentic life. I'm trying to be a little more empathetic, Like, you call me inauthentic, man? I'm like, your portrayal. Yes, you. This idea of what a man should be and all this. And this is not, like, directed at any group of people. It's anybody, The inauthentic life is very, very misconstrued.
Hey, let me put this in philosophical terms for you. Okay, there's a masculine and a feminine. Your masculine is your outward expression, a blatantly obvious expression, right? That's a punch. This is talking. Masculine. Feminine is more of like how do you feel, maybe your subconscious, things like that. Let's put it in those terms. So what you're saying is a child without a father is basically creating their masculine from their mother. Their outward expression, they're creating that from their mother. And women are into flashy things. I would disagree with it. I'll make a better conditioning argument for you. I would say, if you're going to go that route of saying there's a missing masculine, missing male figure in the life, a missing idea of a person to copy, then I would say their role model, their masculine figure in their life is marketing. It's essentially marketing.
Who's your daddy?
Who's
your daddy?
Okay, there's the guy that everyone looks up to. What's he doing? There's a TV commercial with the guy who's doing this. What's he wearing?
Even the guys
What's
that
he look like? What's he talk like?
Yeah, even the guys that have figures, right? I mean, my God, figures. Parents.
I was gonna say that.
They're there,
Yeah.
Some people have who's your dad? Phil's your dad. Like, no, he's not my dad. Michael Jordan's my dad. See?
And to be honest, I think a lot of when that divorce between child and parent happens, when they're like, it's like, okay, yes, I'm your kid, but you're not me. I need to establish me. I think a lot of those people lean towards the marketing of this is what they usually look at what they look like in the mirror. Like, I look like this, and then I see this in the world, and this is my new male figure that I look up to, right? And that's
Obama.
in any community.
Barack Obama.
Yeah.
When I say he's a daddy figure, you know, you can just look how people act towards him. Very oblivious to what, like, specific things he's done or has been linked to. Even Trump. No, not even Trump. Trump, too. I could keep going.
Yeah.
Fucking Clinton. Yo, man, that guy's a pimp. I'm like, I don't know.
So why are black males so infatuated with trinkets, shoes, jeans, blah, blah, blah? How many rap songs have been about celebrating shoes? About celebrating shoes?
Oh, boy.
Like Nelly? Stomping in my Air Force Ones.
No. Air Force Ones, hun. Lime and red.
That's a line, not a song, though.
I know it's a line.
Alright, either way,
He might be a little bit, you know.
I would consider that a culture.
Here's the funny. You know, I got
Let
you.
me answer the question.
No, just wait.
Okay.
The only song I know that's about shoes, sort of, are basically by a white rapper.
Oh,
Tiptoeing in my Jordans.
I don't know
No?
that song. No. Who?
His name is Riff Raff. Yeah.
Riff Raff. It's a funny name.
And he's white. Painfully
Either way.
white.
Either way, it's a culture thing. It's a, oh, you're one of me. You check out the new Jordans? Yeah, man, I got them pre-ordered already. That's a teammate thing that's going on there, and a lot of people do that. Like I said, when they divorce from the parents, well, I think most of them divorce from the parents ideologically, and they look for something else. It turns into marketing. Who's doing what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's
Marketing, you know, people are like, oh, that's the thing. That's what I should wear, you know. And it's not just one group of people.
And I don't just mean marketing firms like commercials and billboards and shit. I also mean just people in a neighborhood. Like, everyone looks up to that guy.
Look what he's
wearing this.
Yeah.
They're like self-marketing to themselves.
Like this. Like fucking like let's say if you're you're a gangster, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, he helps everybody out. Look at him, man. Look at his suit, man. He looks so cool. I want that.
Yeah.
You know? If we have a bunch of like people who are like poor or whatever the fuck, right? And they see someone who's doing good, that shows up every now and then, like, you know, helps people out. And look at what he's wearing, how he talks, how he acts, who he has around him. I want that.
Yeah.
They misconstrue the idea as far as like, this is good. This is good. Look what he's doing. He's doing good. Look at him.
Yeah.
You know? That could be anything, anybody, any given time, you know?
You also have people who are just like, you know, watch too many Spike Lee movies.
Yeah.
There's like, we need to support black businesses. And they think the Jordan brand is a black business. It's like, no, it's not. Also, why would you do that anyways?
Yeah.
You should support your own ideas. It's like, oh, these guys purposely don't, you know, outsource their shoemaking to these foreign countries.
Yeah.
Right? There's no, it's like, oh, Jordan doesn't have a Vietnam factory. So he creates his factories in America, pays them good for their work, and that's why I wear Jordans over this other bullshit. You know.
As well, it shouldn't be like a nationalist type of like, because they're made in America. I'm like, no, because they're not made in, you know, look at this. Indonesia, right? Little kids.
Yeah.
What the fuck? You know? Not even little kids. It's just not right. $1 a day.
Yeah.
Purposely taking advantage of a poor group of people. And my plug his name in again, John Perkins, an economic hitman. This does not make sense, you know?
Culture is merely an outward expression of a people's or a race's inner being. Well, yes, people, but not races. Cultures are not specific to races. It's specific to just people.
Oh, look, for example, ready?
Eminem exists.
Ready? Where I go to school, where I have friends, and predominantly most of them are non-white, but we still all listen to what? A specific type of music that we enjoy. First of all, one, I like it. Two, it's been around me for growing up for my whole life. which is basically rap. 3, it's not just, and it's also me venturing out, looking at other stuff, but I like this. Not because I've been around it my whole life, but it's a part of the culture I was around.
Yeah.
So it's not a race thing, you know? Hey, James, time to listen to Blake Shelton.
If you look at...
It's what you should like.
If you look at hip-hop culture, to where there's, like, almost no out of bounds, really. Yeah. Races get made fun of within races. Like, they'll point out light-skinned dude, or really dark dude, the white guy, they'll all call each other out on whatever. It's a culture thing, man. It's like comedians. It's just,
fucking Eddie Murphy, man.
Yeah, comedians.
Fucking Bernie Mac.
That's a culture where they just shit on each other openly. Yeah. It's not like, what the fuck you say, man? Yeah. Like, you can't just do that in any other circle. You can't have a corporate job just in the boardroom.
Fucking Chris Rock. It's like, Draymond Green, man. That's the blackest name I ever like.
Nah, that's Chappelle.
My bad.
That's Chappelle.
I can't believe I did it again. It's like, hey, it's Chris Rock. Close enough.
Alright.
I won't mention his name again in like 6 months. I committed the cardinal sin if you're a Chappelle fan.
Yeah. Alright, let's continue.
Instead of them doing that, they allowed it to happen, they allowed it to fester, and it ended up hurting the NFL in a pretty serious way. The ratings for the NFL have been in decline for the last 2 years. It's been a serious image issue for the NFL. Well, now, Nike is jumping into the fray. So Nike decided that they are going to do this huge ad campaign that is going to focus on Colin Kaepernick. He is part of the 30th anniversary of Nike's Just Do It campaign. And here's what the ad looks like. It's a picture of Colin Kaepernick, a close-up of his face in black and white. It says, believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything. And then there's the Nike swoosh that says, just do it. Okay, so there's so many elements of this that are just dabbling.
I know.
First of all, this social justice warrior campaign.
Someone showed like a picture of Bush in the towers, and they put like a Nike thing. This is believe in something even means sacrificing everyone. I was like, fuck. Yeah. See how broad of a statement that is. Believe in something even if it means sacrificing everything. What if you're fucking wrong? You know? How about you know?
And what are you sacrificing?
Let's establish what we know first, huh?
Are you sacrificing yourself, your own critical mind, in order to believe in something? It's like, what are you sacrificing?
That's what Ben's sacrificing.
It's a bland, broad statement that doesn't mean much other than, come buy Nike. Look at the, whatever you want to call it.
And again, wait.
Photography.
Do you think, here, this is my point again. Do you think Nike cares about people? You know? If they actually did, they wouldn't have sweatshops, okay?
Nike might be like what Elon Musk says, where it's like corporations are basically like cyborgs.
They'll see what you like. They say, hey, people are going to look up to this guy. People are going to admire him. We're going to back behind him. And again, we have a walking contradiction, you know?
Yeah.
Hypocrisy at its fullest. And it's scary that people are full bore into this, you know? And people are allegedly, right, I'm going to burn my Nikes now. It's like, but you won't burn them because those sweatshops, you burn them because of this dude? What's going on? Are you kidding me? One guy acknowledged it. You know, guys, I could put up with the sweatshops, but this is the final straw. Me and my family are getting rid of everything. Oh, wait, holy shit. What?
So if every Japanese baby were to be replaced with a black Zimbabwean baby, 75 years from now, Japan would look just like it does today, culturally and aesthetically. Wait, well, I don't see why it would look the same aesthetically. Unless you mean like the infrastructure or something like that. But,
75%?
I would... Yeah.
Come on, dude. Come on. Stop.
No, not 75 years.
Oh, fuck, my fault. My fault.
Yeah. Once again, I'll make the argument that people are dum-dums.
Did you read that?
They'll look in the mirror.
You got it. Thank you, buddy. I should pay you down. Hey, it's your fucking thing, man.
It'll survive.
kind of an extreme example.
I think people would look in mirrors, say, "You're different than me."
What'd you call it?
Ah, fuck. Force of habit. People look in mirrors.
You're done.
People look in mirrors and condition themselves to say they're different. At the same time, I think they'll have a subconscious understanding that, okay, we are just people, but I don't like you culturally because of you look different than me.
You gotta look better.
It's just same shit that's been happening for all these years. Now tell me when in history people have stepped back, understood themselves to the fullest extent, and then lived in society.
It'd be different.
That has not happened yet.
It's like when someone says this. When someone says, if you have a group of people, right, and there's a table, there's a group of my bad. Someone walks, you have kids, right, or people, and they walk into a lunchroom. Let's say the guy's a white guy, right, walks into the lunchroom and looks around. Everyone's sitting at a table. You have a bunch of people with darker pigments sitting at one group of table. A bunch of people that appeared, and they appear to be African or whatever. And you have a group of people that appear to be Middle Eastern.
Yeah.
And you have a group of people that appear to be Asian, and then a white group of people. It's like that guy will sit at the white group of table because he identifies with them. It's like, see how off that sounds? Identify. What does that mean? I do believe that people, like ignorant people, will say, okay, I look like this. I should be with these people. Ignorance to that extent. I mean, if you have children, right? I think children just sit anywhere. They haven't been, influenced to such a way yet, if not before they have been.
Take that. What do you say, Japan? Yeah. Take Japan. Take that same scenario you pointed out, but eliminate any possibility of corruption, and then you have a society better than anything we've ever had on this planet. That I know of.
Anything that we know of.
That we know of, yeah. So, if you're gonna go hypothetical, let's just go there.
Yeah, and speaking of which,
the bad ideas have nothing to do with race, right?
Sure.
Whether or not you harm someone or lie to someone or anything like that has nothing to do with race. Any race is capable of that.
Speaking of which, right? If they're like non-corrupt, that society, and a scenario takes place at that point in time.
Yeah.
Would the culture be similar, if not better? As far as culturally we do these things. We're conditioned to believe this and that. Let's say it's already better.
Yeah.
The outcome would
Also, you're assuming that Japan is some sort of utopian kingdom already.
I don't know about that.
There could
say that?
There could be problem. Well, I think the point he's trying to get at is that if you put black babies here, then the country will fall apart or something like that over time because of racial diversity. I'm like,
that's ridiculous.
It's like, you sure there aren't problems there to begin with?
If there's already problems to begin with, right? And I feel like people will, and I admire this, try to find the problem and the solution to the problem itself. But when we identify the problem, which we believe it to be, which is obviously if it's race, which is absolutely flat out wrong, and we come up with a solution, it's already faulty. You know what I mean? It doesn't work.
Yeah, because what if their original idea was purposely keeping out other races in the first place? Then it's like you already have an inherent corruption to where if you start mixing races there, then it's like dun.
Yeah, like even if you look at the history of I believe it was Japan, who did not want any I don't remember who it was exactly. It was either China or Japan, and they did not want any foreigners allowed at all. Strictly this, strictly us.
Yeah,
that's a form of corruption.
Yeah,
that's saying, oh, you can't be here. You know what I mean? So again, if it's a conditioned ideal, belief systems, etc., then what do you expect? Then it's just to say, look, they don't like this. This is the problem. I have the solution here. We separate. It's like, see how silly that sounds? That's not a solution. Okay?
Yeah.
That's not even a Band-Aid. You know what I mean?
It says, wrong tests have showed that
tests.
Even kindergartners separate by race in lunchrooms.
I didn't.
Please pull up the study. Yeah, me neither.
I never did. I mean,
I think our town's a little different.
maybe.
It always seemed that way. Everyone always mixed around and shit. Just like, oh, you're in the. It's like, oh, you're in the smart classes. You hang out with the smart class people. Oh, you're an athlete. You go over here.
I mean, when I was a kid, I never really looked at it, and I do remember these things. I never looked at it as, oh, you're this, you're that. I just, hey, you like Batman. I like Batman too. That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, the thing with conditioning, if you point it out to people, it breaks the conditioning, at least momentarily. At the very least, momentarily. If I take an Asian kid and walk him to a lunchroom, there's the white table, black table, and the Asian table. I'm like, listen, man, I know you're gonna go to the Asian table. Go ahead. Go where I know you're gonna go already. The conditioning can break for a second. You're like, oh shit. That's a psychological term. It's called just noticeable difference. When you hear a hint of something like to where reality stops for a second, you're just like, okay, something's different here.
Even this.
When someone points out your conditioning, people start changing because they want to be individuals.
Sure. I bring it again, right? We have a baseball player that walks into a room, and he sees a bunch. He doesn't. Let's say he just says, just go over here, guys. This is where all you guys get lunch. Baseball player sees a bunch of baseball players. Then there's football players over here, just sitting. Tennis players, etc. Like maybe whatever. Like where's he gonna sit? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Versus, hey, dude, if you sit over here, there's like pizza. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. No, the point is if you put black people there, they will. The Japanese culture will cease to exist and will be replaced with Zimbabwean culture.
How? If it's babies, I don't understand that.
I think it'd be like a mixture. In fact, I think the end result, the truly end result, will be separation of culture based on your likes and dislikes. I like hip hop. I hang around hip hop people. I like, fantasy sports. I hang around fantasy sports guys.
Fancy sports?
Fantasy.
Oh.
I like multiple of these things. I hang out with all these people.
Sure.
I don't think it'll be because,
it just doesn't.
It's hard for me to find different cultural differences other than like foods and shit like that.
Well, then there's culturally what,
Yeah, like
I'm not going to call it a ritual, but let's say we call it celebration, like how look for what's it called? Day of the Dead.
yeah, Mexicans,
Okay.
Latinos.
So
Yeah.
you already know the high school, right? If not elementary school, it's like a lot of it's Hispanic or black, whatever. So you're gonna see that shit. You're gonna see it. You're gonna say, I remember that. Oh yeah, it's that time of year again, automatically. Versus, what is this? Billy, look away. I've never seen this before in my life.
Yeah.
It's like,
And then look at where the problems come from with anything like that. It comes from the dum-dums with the loud voices saying, my culture's right or my religion is right and these guys are bad. Or why are they in my school doing
I
this?
would try to be a little bit more specific here.
Like, this is America. You should, acclimatize to our ideology. It's like, man, I don't see where that moral.
Again, I don't find anything wrong with or anything harmful coming with like one group of people, especially if they're babies. As long as these ideas are not corrupt at all whatsoever, especially a culture that is. By culture, I mean ideals with them, adopting them, living around them, growing up around them, I don't see how that's a problem. I don't see how anything bad would come of that at all whatsoever. If anything, it's people with, I would say, ideals that are corrupt, that make things happen the way, you know.
Pride too.
Sure. And ignorant people as well, you know, like not understanding what is right versus wrong, and people could say, "Oh, dude, that doesn't mean a lot." I'm like, it means plenty if we look into what it is, you know.
Yeah.
Good versus bad. And maybe people are like, "That's not it, man. You didn't say enough." I'm like, I said enough to bring up the idea, you know. When we really look into what that is, you know, I think a lot of these things will open the door to themselves, you know.
All right, let's.
I kind of went off track there, but
I know.
it's fine. It's fine.
Nike Swoosh says, just do it. Okay, so there's so many elements of this that are just fabulously ironic. First of all, this social justice warrior campaign to sell sneakers produced by small children in Vietnam, presumably. It's kind of hilarious. Watching the entire left resonate around a huge billion-dollar company, a huge corporation that allegedly exploits child labor in third-world countries because, hey, Colin Kaepernick, that's pretty hilarious. It is also kind of hilarious that the slogan itself, believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything, it's a really dumb slogan. In fact, it's basically Thanos' slogan from Avengers Infinity War. Believe in something, even if it means sacrificing half of humanity. What you believe is actually the key issue. I mean, if we're actually going to take that slogan seriously, believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything, it's not about believing in something. It's about what you believe in. The question is, are you believing the right things? Colin Kaepernick is not. He's never provided a shred of data to support his assertions that black people in the United States are being disproportionately shot by police because, in fact, they are not.
I think they read it as a subconscious thing because of, culture stuff. Like when a rapper says, like, I'm gonna shoot you and blah, blah, blah. Like, they don't really mean they're gonna shoot them.
No.
They don't really mean that. They all know, like, oh, they're just rappers, man. Like, the real guys that are gonna shoot you aren't gonna say they're gonna shoot you because they're worried about, getting arrested or whatever. So.
Jay-Z song, $100 bills, like, guys, remember the song.
Yeah.
You know?
So that part of culture, so cops might have a subconscious, probably into this. Oh, these guys are more likely to be dangerous, blah, 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 on and on and so forth.
We have to keep this rowdy bunch in check, fellas. All right, Johnson? Yes, sir. You know? I mean, whatever. But I understand, but it's from a point of ignorance, you know? But he did have a point, though. It's like, yeah, Vietnamese kids make your shit, you know? I don't know if that's accurate, but I'm pretty sure they do have those sweatshops. Nike has been linked to that. And they
See, the thing is,
didn't do well. That didn't go well, you know?
Thing is, I think he's right about that.
But
why he's saying it?
Yeah, why?
Is like he wouldn't point out any of Israel's crimes.
Probably not. No, probably not.
He'd probably, in fact, justify them. Well,
he said, "Show the data. Show the data. Show the data for this." I'm like, dude, just look what happens, you know?
Yeah.
And then we get to the actual issue of Colin Kaepernick being the face of this particular culture war. We get to the bottom line here, and there's a great irony to it, which I'll discuss in just a second. So Colin Kaepernick, again, says believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything, over his face for the Nike Just Do It campaign. I do love the fact that when you hashtag Just Do It with all the capitals properly utilized, it looks like just don't. But in any case, using Colin Kaepernick, he's a poor example of this because he didn't sacrifice anything. Colin Kaepernick did not sacrifice a thing. If we're going to talk about people who sacrifice in the NFL, there are legitimate former military members in the NFL. Pat Tillman died in the line of duty, working as a soldier in Afghanistan.
Wait. Fucking damn it.
What?
I wonder what he was going to say.
Let's hear it.
For the NFL, did Nike do a campaign around him? Of course they did, right? They just do it around Colin Kaepernick.
All right. You know why they didn't do it? Because it wouldn't do good for them at all.
Yeah.
That whole thing surrounding Tillman, a lot of people tend to forget what happened to him. He saw what happened. This is from, like, allegedly his own personal perspective and his family members and friends surrounding him about what he said and or thought, you know.
Well,
just saying, I don't know how he personally felt, but from what I've seen, heard, read, he, 9/11 happened. Felt obligated to do something to help, do something greater. Enlisted. Eventually, I don't remember what specific group or what he was a part of, but eventually he was a part. Iraq. Yeah. No, what was that? Iraq or Afghanistan?
He just said Afghanistan.
Okay, it's just trying to be specific.
Like an Army Ranger or something like that.
Something like that. Anyway, you do hear about how he was starting to oppose it. He's like, "Why are we here? This doesn't make sense. What are we doing here?" Allegedly, how when he this is just what I heard. Not from anyway specifically, but he might talk about how he's gonna talk against it when he comes back. But needless to say, from that, very very opposed to any sort of spotlight.
Yeah.
Didn't like when he enlisted. People wanted hey listen, the Pentagon wants to keep him safe. So let's have him. We could have him interviewing people. He's like, no, not doing it. When people wanted to interview him, he's like, no, I'm good. Very, very, I just want to do my part. Leave me alone, Then, eventually, realizes, okay, this is weird. What's going on here, But wants to finish out, the duration of his, service, whatever. Gets shot by, from what we're told by the military he was, they saw the enemy combatant, whatever the fuck. They charged forward. He was the first one in line, and he was taken down by a sniper. What actually happened was that was a lie. Turns out he was killed by friendly fire.
That's on the paper, factual.
Yeah.
He was killed by friendly fire, which Ben Shapiro forgets to mention.
Yeah, and Nike, especially during that time, not touching that. We're not touching this, No one wanted to touch that,
Yeah.
Now years later, people want to forget, and I'll see it every now and then. Tillman's the real hero. They'll put in the Nike thing. I'm like, if only you guys looked into it, Tillman's is probably an example of someone who was ignorant to what was happening around him, just like a lot of other people would, because hey, I wouldn't blame you. I get it.
Yeah.
I feel like he should do something. So that's the hero aspect that I admire. But what I also admire is, unfortunately, while he was there, he's witnessing these things, whatever they were happening, and he started to question why they were there. That's another thing I admire. Doing something about it. When you believe something you're doing is the right thing, and then questioning it, whether it's before you do it or while it's happening around you.
Let's just say that joining the military does not make you a hero.
No, it doesn't.
Which is what Ben Shapiro is inferring when he says that. He's like a real hero.
No.
Like ex-military guys.
No.
No. That's the BS that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Playing one side and fighting the other
side. The reasons, right? So if, let's say, you're led to believe that this is happening and you have to do something about it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Innocents are dying over here, We're sending out forces today to help. And someone's like, I got help. This is horrible. Whatever's happening, I have to go help them. But it turns out, whatever was originally said by the government or the military is actually a lie. And then, what happens to you? You become another group of ignorant people. But what gets separated is people with intentions. Was it your intentions to go out and help them, do something about this because you thought there was some sort of evil threat, or was it, well, they'll pay for this and this and that, and I'll be set. And my family will be set. That's that's big difference, and he fails to mention that. He's using very broad, specific terms, and I'm not saying I don't do that, but I would question why are we making these comparisons?
Yeah.
It's like, dude, if you're gonna make a comparison, not even give it a specific example of what specifically, then don't even. This is the bullshit. He's a bullshit artist. It's creepy.
Yeah.
You're gonna call it Nike, but you're not gonna call out, Israel. And well, dude, it's Nike. Nike's a company or corporation, and Israel's this. It's a country, and it's like, or a state, the state of Israel, or whatever the fuck. And it's like, both of them do bad shit. That's it. Done.
Hey, we're just going to try to finish the video. We'll go to your comment right after we finish this shit.
And this is for capitalistic reasons. It is to make money. Nike is a corporation. They know we'll be talking about it today. They hope that by right-wingers talking about it, they will drive more people on the left to go out and buy sneakers on the basis of we don't like President Trump. And let's be frank about this. This is an anti-Trump campaign. This rally first started in the 2016 campaign. If Hillary Clinton were president right now, do you think that Nike would actually be running this ad campaign? Of course not. Of course not. Colin Kaepernick.
I don't know about that.
Nah, I think I agree with him.
I don't know.
To some extent. I don't think it would get the hype. I don't think it would get the same hype. They're abusing people's ignorance. Just beating the shit out of them.
Now, I'm not saying I don't agree with that, but I don't know. Because as long as there's some sort of, all it took was someone to say, and a reason to say it, obviously, right? I'm not saying I do believe he's racist. I don't know. He seems like he made some incredibly ignorant comments or statements, and then someone said, he's racist, see? And someone got behind that statement and pushed the fuck out of it. And a bunch of people believed it.
Yeah.
So if we look, I'm just saying, if we look back at what Clinton has done, Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, and the comments she said back to about black people, allegedly about black people.
Forget it, just all of it. I mean, I was in shock that she would get that type of support.
Me too.
I was like, no, like she's Trump. Yeah, he sounds dumb, but she's blatant evidence of corruption. Like it's so blatant. It's been on like every level of media. It's been on the mainstream. It's been down the alternative media.
An astounding amount of evidence to support that theory.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, I can't justify anyone.
No, absolutely.
Like, anyone.
I would never even fathom the thought of even she's the person for the job.
Yeah, I can't even think of a good thing she's done.
So, I understand what he means, but at the end of the day, I don't know. I could see what he means. Like, do you think they would really do this if Clinton was in office? I'm like, hey man, all it takes is someone popular, someone with a voice to just resurface those videos of they're predators. Predators, not saying they, but
no, I think they knew about.
Even so, anyway, I get what you mean. I get it.
All right.
Kaepernick has not sacrificed anything. Not only did he not sacrifice nothing, he only started doing this when he became a useless backup quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. And then, after that, he has kept his name in the headlines. He's been on the cover of Sports Illustrated despite not playing for 2 years. Tim Tebow isn't on the cover of Sports Illustrated every 2 weeks because Tim Tebow isn't in with the social justice warrior crowd. But Tim Tebow was, in many ways, sort of the equivalent of Colin Kaepernick in that he had one kind of terrific season where he unexpectedly led the Denver Broncos to wins in the playoffs, and then he fell off the map.
Tebow was quite a bit different, statistically, and just looking at it.
He's also completely different player.
What he did was he would make comeback wins, but he'd be like 4 for like 20 passing.
Like you said, he would put them in that position. Okay, we need a comeback, and then he would do it. So it was really weird. It's like you're a pitcher, right? And you allow like 3 home runs and a couple walks, couple hits, and it's like you're losing the game 5-4. You're in the 7th inning, right? And it's crucial right now. Bases are loaded, and you strike out the side. Then you strike out the side again the next inning, and then the relievers come in. It's like, but you put us in there in first position.
I'll do you one better.
What?
Like let's say someone who gets to shoot like Kobe Bryant, right? They get like whatever you want to do, you can do it. Mm-hmm. He just takes 60 shots in the first half. Mm-hmm. Makes 10 of them. It's like, fuck, we're down by 50.
And he gets 50
Then he takes the same amount of shots the next half and just makes most of them and comes back and wins the game. It's like, oh, he's amazing. It's like, you sort of put him in L. He had guys wide open, but he shot it anyways. So, once again, Tebow's known for not being able to throw correctly, get the ball out of his hand in enough time. He's definitely a better runner than Kaepernick. But
look at him.
But if people see there, they're like, okay, he can't really throw that good, so we'll just wait for him to run the ball. Mm-hmm. Kaepernick, you can't really do that.
No, he can't run through people.
No, but you can't just sit there and wait for him to run.
Oh, no.
It's like, oh, he could just throw it and beat us.
Yeah.
So we have to guard against everything.
Yeah. And he can run, too. Yeah. Not only that though, it's like, do you see how like the points quickly or slowly become insults?
Oh yeah.
So it's like, what are we really listening to here? You know?
Well, he's saying like,
mind you, if I insult someone, I'm gonna give it reason.
well, he's like,
or an idea.
he's not playing because he's not good. It's like, no, I actually think the political stuff plays a role in why he's not on a team.
Sure.
For sure. Right? Like RG3, he had a beef with a coach. That's a one-on-one personal thing.
Yeah.
He wasn't like pissing off all the owners of the NFL, which is why RG3 has a job right now. He's like, RG3, he's just out of the league. Like, no, he's on the team right now.
Yeah.
He's on the Baltimore Ravens right now as a backup quarterback.
He was everywhere, man. Fucking Subway commercials.
Well, he had a really good year until he got hurt.
Yeah, that happens.
His first year, he was on the Pro Bowl, which is like the All-Star team.
Oh yeah.
He was on the.
Yeah, I got you. It's like
his first year.
Like Yasiel Puig, right? Let's imagine, right? Let's say he was having trouble with Mattingly at the time, and he's like struggling a little bit. Just wait, and then they bench him. We're gonna platoon him. He's struggling. Like, no, you let him play, man.
Yeah.
Then he plays a little bit. Now his team's not doing well. Baseball can work sometimes. If you're the type of hitter that would that would benefit from protection in the lineup, see, we're gonna bat you ahead of him because they don't want to pitch to him. They don't want you on base. They're gonna try to get you out. You're gonna get pitches to hit. You know what I mean? So.
He also doesn't mention the coaches changed.
No.
The coach that led them to the Super Bowl left the team for a higher paying job at Michigan University. Coached the college team.
Yeah.
So the guy who was developing him.
That's crazy, right?
To be a star. The guy he played under that helped him be a star. His playbook and all that shit. Left.
Yeah, it's gone. Now you got this whole new shit you gotta learn.
Yeah. All right.
Isn't that funny? I'm leaving the pros. I'm gonna go to college
for more money.
Isn't that crazy?
No, it makes sense because they don't pay their fucking athletes.
I get how it works, but isn't that insane? It's insane. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, actually.
No, hush. Play the video.
It makes sense for coaches because they're the stars in college.
I get it.
These are just nameless players. He'll get drafted or something like that. But
some of them are big.
They're big names, but it's the coaches that are the stars of the team.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
But Colin Kaepernick, he took over for Alex Smith halfway through a season with the San Francisco 49ers. They went to the Super Bowl. He lost, and then he was nothing. Okay, but still, he's on the cover of Sports Illustrated. He's still championed as this thought leader, even though I'm not sure Colin Kaepernick has ever had any real thought. And the reason I say that is because Colin Kaepernick has never made an articulate defense of his own position on any of this stuff. There are people who have made articulate defenses on his behalf, but he's never done it himself. He has not sacrificed anything, and he's slated to earn legitimately millions of dollars. He's going to get a branded line off of not being in athletics for 2 years. He's getting a branded line, and he's going to make millions of dollars off of kneeling for the national anthem. So why is Nike doing all of this? Precisely so that we'll talk about it. It is a troll. It's obviously a troll. They're hoping that the President of the United States will talk about it. Trump undoubtedly will sign off on it. I mean, he will undoubtedly sound off about it on Twitter because he thinks, again, that this is a culture war worth fighting.
So,
jeez, pushing that hard.
I think if he didn't kneel for the national anthem, he'd be making millions of dollars playing football.
Yeah. That's not the point.
I told you, his talent was not so down here to where he wouldn't get signed. Like, he was talking about the Broncos wanted to take him. The Denver Broncos. Their GM is John Elway, who's like one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, 2-time Super Bowl winner. Why would he just pick some bum? Like, you know what? No one wants you. We'll take you. It's like, no, he was going to start, I think.
They got, right. I mean, you said himself. They got 2 backup quarterbacks instead.
Well,
not backup. They got 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah, Broncos have struggled with quarterbacks for the past whatever years.
Manning was there, right?
Even Manning struggled.
No, it was after the Colts, right?
Yeah, he went to the Broncos. And he struggled there. It was like his arm is gone. Like, he can't throw anymore. Yeah. I think he might have had a good, half a year or something like that.
Postseason, I think.
Oh, he ate shit in the Super Bowl.
Really?
I believe.
Oh, fuck. Wow.
Right?
Well, nonetheless.
I think he ate shit 1 year, and then another year his defense basically won the Super Bowl. Yeah.
But there's no question that this is all designed to sell more sneakers. And one of the reasons that Nike thinks
that I agree with completely.
And it's creepy. Yeah.
See, we allow guys like Ben Shapiro to exist because the other side.
I'm not allowing him to.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because the other side's like, we'll hold up our bet idea too. We'll combat.
Oh, you mean his claim to fame? Yeah.
And he's arguing about
Yeah.
You're a man. You're a man.
No, it's. You're a man, 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 you're a man.
It's like, good job, Ben.
It's like, dude,
you're saving the world, man.
You'll go home in a hospital, in an ambulance. It's like, Christ, man, that fucking call. All right, let's keep going.
they can get away with this, obviously, is because disproportionate amounts of money are spent on clothing and apparel by members of the black community, many of whom are supporters of Colin Kaepernick in this particular controversy. Okay, that is not...
We're going to buy...
Probably based on conditioning.
Not only that, it's like, remember, we're going to buy your culture and we'll sell it back to you.
Yeah, basically. They call it BET.
Fuck.
It is what it is. Like, they act like they're not owned by, like, MTV.
Yeah.
So it's different.
It's ours.
Stop it.
A racial supposition that is an economic supposition. Economists Kerwin Charles, Eric Hurst, Nikolai Rusinoff from the University of Chicago did a study called Conspicuous Consumption and Race. And what they found is that blacks and Hispanics spend a lot more than whites with comparable incomes on visible goods, meaning clothes, cars, and jewelry, up to an additional 30%. There's been a long-standing sort of sociological investigation into why, for example, it seems that lower-income black folks spend more on sneakers, and some of that has to do with pride in culture. Some of that has to do with the fact that, you know, like Air Jordans were a massive cultural totem in the 1990s. All that is true, but just for capitalistic purposes, it's pretty obvious that Nike is attempting to appeal to this particular consumer base, along with a left that will resonate to the support of Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you said, what do you say? He said culture and pride in culture. Basically what we were just saying.
Mm.
I mean, what else?
I don't disagree with everything he says. It's just when he...
What else have I said? 99% just dum-dums walking around.
Yeah.
Just...
At least from what I see.
And you wonder why Elon Musk thinks we're all basically robots. Genetic robots.
I mean, look.
Because you can't tell the difference, that's why.
Well, he hasn't, I don't think he's done the work, too. Like, understandably so. People act like robots sometimes. So your actions, they tell me you don't care. You must be a robot. Well, I guess most people are like this. You know?
Mm.
And it's also important to note that according to Nielsen, African Americans are more likely to interact with brands on social media or to use social networks to support companies and brands, 44% more likely. So they're hoping that this campaign goes viral, particularly among black audiences, and that people on the left will resonate to this as well. So in the end, capitalism wins. The great irony of this is the social justice warriors championing this. They're really championing the power of capitalism. But is it insulting? Of course it's insulting. Is it designed to slap President Trump? Of course it's designed to slap President Trump. And honestly, I'm not sure that President Trump could ask for much more. Nike made an in-kind contribution to the Trump campaign. Because this battle in 2018 and 2020 is going to be about kneeling for the flag. Most Americans are not on board with that. Most Americans don't look at Colin Kaepernick and see an American hero. They don't even see a guy who's made a lot of sacrifices. Muhammad Ali was the champion of the world. He was the heavyweight boxing champion of the world when he was suspended from boxing for not volunteering for the Vietnam draft, for not being drafted, and for saying things about the Viet Cong and all of this kind of stuff under the influence of Elijah Muhammad and the evil nation of Islam. The guy sacrificed years of his career. He went to jail for this. Colin Kaepernick has sacrificed zero things, but apparently he's sacrificing everything, means signing contracts.
All right, just because it's not visible, sacrifice does not mean we know. Does not mean we know. I don't know what he sacrificed. To be fair, just saying this really quick, you know, that the Elijah Muhammad, that guy has done some shady shit.
I haven't looked into
that
him.
Should not represent the Nation of Islam as a whole, as a people, you know, with good ideas. You know, from what I see, Malcolm X turned away from the Nation of Islam when he found out, basically, what Elijah Muhammad was doing. Basically, his assistant who was impregnating them, and basically when eventually they got visibly pregnant, he would shame them in front of everybody, and you're cast away, you know.
Yeah.
And he found out about this, didn't like it, then he left.
And then they probably killed him.
I believe it was also I believe the government had a hand in that as well. I would not doubt it.
Why would the government want to hold up the guy with the bad ideas and shoot down the guy who may be improving? Why would they do that?
Because there's common ground.
Trick question.
There's common ground. Hold on. I hope we don't forget that, you know, at the time, Muhammad Ali's ideas weren't exactly the most
Sophisticated.
Absolutely not. Yeah, just saying.
No, it almost sounds like an elongated reaction instead of like some guy pushes you. What? Hey, that's a quick reaction. There's just this long, drawn-out reaction of, why is the system like this?
Yeah.
Why is it people that look like me? Why are we getting treated bad?
Yeah. I understand how it could come to that point. I really do. I understand.
Oh, in the fucking 60s and shit?
Yeah, it's fucking awful. Yeah.
Alright. So why are there portions of America, especially within the inner city, that are indistinguishable from Zimbabwean slums? I never even heard of that. Maybe because they're slums. Slums might look like slums.
Well, we can get to that. Well, what does he mean?
Yeah. Liberal logic.
I'm a liberal?
Hold on. Liberal logic. All cultures are equal and deserving of mutual respect.
I didn't say that.
But Western culture is deeply racist, bigoted, and predatory. See, that's just the revenge politics mindset. That's all that is.
Well, look, there's cultures, right? Then there's ideology, right? And I understand that it could be culturally based. Like this is passed on between, you know, here and here. I didn't say that, you know. I didn't mean that either, you know. And if we eliminate the ideology, but we still have culture to begin with, right? Let's say a group of people like culturally, you know, have these festivals, et cetera, you know. And there's nothing wrong with them, right? But let's say we add ideologies to it, you know. Then, you know, there might be an issue, you know. But I mainly blame just ignorance, you know. The culture doesn't make you do it. People influence other people, and people can be either can be ignorant and corrupt. And that's what happens, you know.
I also think it's a lot of loudmouths.
Sure.
A lot of, if you don't do things this way, then you're weak. Then you're ostracized.
Or, you know, a parent telling you know, a father telling his son, listen, son, you know, they're gonna break you. You know, you better do it now. You better conform right now. You know, they're not gonna say conform. You better just you better just do what they tell you. Okay.
Just put your head down and keep walking.
It's like that sounds like someone who's been damaged, quite a degree, and they just care because they're telling someone this. Like you better stop that right now. You better do this. You know.
And I think this is why, at least for me, I sort of pause on things and really think about the scenario like other people bring up. It's because it's like you know the answer already, but you have to like say it in a way that fits within the social narrative of things. Like
nothing wrong with that. I mean,
like if
let's say
if they if you tell me something like, oh, where the races act different because of genetic blah blah blah, and I've already done the work to know that that's wrong. Like I know the actual answer, and I know that's wrong. Now I have to find some way because people won't respond to existential logic. They'll respond to, well, in 1978, blah blah blah, the emperor this did
full
this,
studies, data, etc.
And that makes it a little more difficult. Now, if you talk to me on a philosophical level, then
look, I think they have their place, you know, but you can't really necessarily have an ideology influence the data or studies, right?
Yeah.
So let's say it's here, this group of people. Let's say they're doing IQ. Why is that? You know,
they do after effects.
Well, sure. And then we look at what's going on with this in this specific region, right? I wonder why this is, you know. Yeah. First of all, you should question and, like, you know, how you're measuring this to begin with, you know. But let's just, you know, we look upon that. Like, why is this area like this? Why are these people in this area? Why is it like this? Like a slum, right? So what do you compare it to? The inner cities and what?
Zimbabwe.
Okay, I don't know shit about Zimbabwe, but he's making it sound like what? Third world.
Like the slums.
Yeah.
Zimbabwe slums.
Okay.
And inner city slums, I guess. It's like, well, slums look like slums.
They don't discriminate, you know?
Yeah.
Like, there's some here, you know?
But
they're pretty distinctive, you know what I mean? They're there. They're here, you know? Like, there's in the city. I've been to New Orleans. I've seen them. Pretty fucked up. And what they all have in common is, group of people most likely being taken advantage of, you know? And by taking advantage, I mean the popular idea of how they're being taken advantage of. I mean a systematic idea of, okay, not necessarily race, but economically, you know? That's people, I don't feel like people don't really understand, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
I think these things sound like, you know, 20/20 hindsight. Like they can see the result. They look at the result, then they go try to look back into time and say, how did this happen? They just start connecting data points and say, this is why this is happening. They don't actually see the thing unfolding in front of them. They just see the end result, and then they look back and try to find why that's what happened.
Nonetheless,
the excuse for it.
Nonetheless, I admire someone trying to go. Well, I would admire. Like, I should find out why this is happening. This is wrong. That I admire. Not just simply I'm gonna go out and find out why. It's like, why you're doing it.
It's different when you sort of only take certain parts of reality and using that as your. This is why this happens.
Well, it's incomplete. I mean,
existentially, I would say so.
It's even this, like the slums, right? To an extent, it's like, you know, we can go, we can use statistics, we can use historical evidence here. Like what happened in the 80s, you know, or even before that, you know, were drugs pumped into this country by the government?
Yeah, it's already established.
Okay, where'd they go?
Basically inner cities.
Oh.
But it might not have been because of race.
No, I'm not getting to that.
It might have been, where can we get away with this?
Just wait. Yeah, sure. Like, where are we going to put them there? Where can we make the most profit here? Where are we going to, like, improve from, like, you know,
without getting caught?
Sure.
Would be the
and then there's all these other things, right? You have the drugs there. Then we have the war on drugs. You have the prison industrial complex. And then so forth. It's like a cycle.
Yeah.
Even the geopolitical, I'll call it a big ass problem. You know, we have I want to make this really specific. We have a specific reason for a conflict. We advertise we advertise the reason for the conflict or alleged conflict, right? Whether it be somebody or a specific event that took place within that region or area.
Yeah.
We drill it and constantly advertise. By advertising, I mean it's said like 1,000 times until people's opinions might be publicly swayed or don't really understand yet until more further details are explained. And then it happens slowly. Whether it be someone trying to corrupt said politician or whoever the fuck is leading that area of people or peoples. And or it's it becomes we have to have regime change. We have to go in there and we need to, like, he's a dictator, okay? Chemical attacks or whatever have you, you know, whatever reason. They go in there, take him out.
Yeah.
Either they go in there, take him out, or it's some specific like group of people or terrorists, right? And how they're funded, and they take him out, and all of a sudden, our military goes in, takes over. By take over, I mean we prop up some leader that we initially most likely pushed. Like, here you go, this is our guy. We're gonna have democracy here now. Isn't that weird?
And the thing is, no matter how silly the story is, at least the government statement, even me, who's like seen all the conspiracy and all that shit, even me, when I hear it from a guy on a podium with the United States seal, and he says, this is what's going on. It's like, part of me's like, It's almost like I have to partially accept it first before I start critiquing it and breaking it down.
I'm heard it.
It's like, why would? Because there's no logic behind why they would lie, at least in your forefront of your mind.
Sure.
Like there's
That's
some
why
sort of
when I was little, when I heard about these things on TV, you know, I'm like, oh, bad people, shit, you know, fuck, you know. But at the end of the day, it's like you hear someone make a statement, and you're like, I'm not automatically believing it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm like, fuck, like, did that really happen? You know, who knows? Look at it, you know. And at the time, yeah, I didn't have a reason to believe that they would do such a thing, or why would they lie? Why would they lie? I'm like, yeah, I would like to believe that as well. Like, why would they? Until we come to the understanding of, oh, there is corruption in this world, huh? Well, it's not as simple as that, James. It's like, oh, it really is.
Yeah.
It really is when you get down to what corruption is, you know. Remember, I'm just saying a word here that has meaning, you know. Just when I say good and bad ideas, they have meaning behind them. It's not just some blanket term I'm using. Like, oh, you're a straw man. See? We pick at that, right? We pick at that. What do you mean by that? You know? Like, oh, I mean this. I'm going to describe it to you. I'm going to explain it to you, you know? Define the word. I'm like, sometimes it's tough to define these words, especially if I'm talking like metaphysically or philosophically. That's why sometimes I'll use these parables, you know, because I believe it's one of the best ways for people to get their own understanding of whatever I'm saying, right? So if I say someone's in a fucking sandbox and they're playing in their sandbox, they only play in the sandbox, how the fuck will they ever know about what goes on in the swing set, what goes on in the jungle gym, you know? What goes on the blacktop with the one, you know, basketball hoop? How will they know? You know, they're only looking at one side of the spectrum here.
Yeah.
How could you possibly know? Oh, because someone told you? Go look. It's there. You know? It's really weird.
All right. Seems to be the end of the comments.
I appreciate them. I mean...
Yeah, for sure. All right, we are going to end this thing. We're going to end the world. Sorry.
We'll already end.
Thanks for watching if you made it this far. I'm usually surprised by comments, so I end up reading them, and then we start going off track. Forgive us for that. Hit subscribe if you want to, you know, ask questions. When we live stream, you get notifications for it. Obviously, comment. We accept that. And a thumbs down.